Hi again, friends. Happy Thursday.
We have not changed clothes in 2 days. I have not showered in 2 days.
We have sat in this very spot for 2 days.
That's right. Thinking about the amazing content we're about to produce. Let me drop a beat on you.
Just kidding. It's Tuesday in our recording world. But for you that are watching this right now, it's Thursday. So happy Thursday. Okay, so if you guys didn't watch Tuesday's video, this week we're switching things up a little bit. We are asking each other 3 questions about mental health and
For Mental Health Awareness Month.
for Mental Health Awareness Month. And
Go Brains.
what?
Go Brains.
Go Brains, yes. So, on Tuesday, we had a video where Cody asked me 3 different questions, and today I will be asking Cody 3 different questions.
I'm
So
scared.
they're not that bad, I promise. They're very similar to the questions that you asked me, but they're a little bit differently. They're a little bit different. So, if you guys are interested in seeing that other video, go back and watch Tuesday's video before you watch this one.
That's right.
Or if you're only interested in hearing Cody's response, that's fine. You can only watch today's video if you want.
I'm not that interesting, I promise.
Okay. Alright, so we'll just go ahead and get started. Are you ready?
Yep.
Alright. So, my first question for you is, what does mental health mean to you?
Okay, that's a good question. I like it.
I thought you were going to ask me that one, but earlier but you didn't, so I was like, yes.
Alright, so mental health means to me, it's really just, when we look at the definition, it's another branch of, your overall wellness. I like to think of it as a tree. You got your physical well-being, your mental well-being, another branch, the emotional, spiritual. So, it's, if you're not taking care of the mental part of your tree, that's going to be a part of the tree that's not going to grow as big as it could, and going to be hurt. So to me, being mentally mentally healthy, it's just taking care of what I need to take care of. That's making sure that I'm getting enough rest, so that I'm not tired. If I have a lot to do the next day, that would just cause extra stress.
Sure.
It's making sure that I do the things I like to do, hobbies,
Mm-hmm.
It's making sure that I am feeding myself properly to, make sure my body, the chemistry is, producing what it needs to produce, and really just connecting with my faith as well. I think that for me, faith is number 1 in my life, so it's helped me through so many hard and challenging times over the past 2 years since I became a Christian.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's great. So you kind of see it all as intertwined into one big thing, right?
Yeah, I do. I think that, each part of overall wellness is just as important as the other. You can't neglect one part and expect to be at your potential. You have to feed the tree just like every other part.
Yeah. That's a good way to look at it, because I think sometimes we kind of separate it out into this one thing and we kind of forget about it. But I like the way you said that. That's really neat, because it all kind of goes together.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Can't exercise if you're feeling like you're about to cry one day.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I've been there, done that, haven't I?
Yeah, you gotta make sure you're, doing the things to keep yourself happy.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, then that leads me right into my second question. What is your favorite way to relieve stress or anxiety?
Okay, that's a really good question. I thought of 2 really good things. So, the first
Ready for
one,
this one?
yes, the first one is definitely just finding the time to go out and do any type of exercise whatsoever. Exercise is so key for me in helping me with OCD, just because, when OCD for me is just a lot of restless thoughts. Thoughts are racing all day. So by going out and exercising and physically exhausting myself, I find myself being a lot calmer. A key reason being why is when you do exercise, I'm not a scientist, but from the research I've seen,
You went to school for this. You
Well,
have education.
but
Don't let him fool you. He's very knowledgeable on this.
it helps your body produce the calming hormones, dopamine and serotonin, and it gets rid of cortisol, which is the stress hormone.
Mm-hmm.
So, when you're getting your blood pressure up, physically exerting yourself, your brain is producing those hormones, which calms you down mentally, but also calms you down physically. So,
when did exercise become so important to you?
I've always loved sports growing up, but something that really ignited that for me was just looking back at my own family history. My grandfather on my dad's side, he had heart issues and actually passed away from a heart attack when he was in his 40s. So I never got a chance to meet him. And of course, my own father, he had a heart attack as well. So that just really, because if he wasn't exercising the way that he was, I don't know if he would have been here to this day.
Yeah.
So that just really sparked it for me. It's like, okay, I've really got to take care of myself, or else, what's going to happen when I'm later in life, in my 50s or 60s? I want to do my best to prevent that. You can't always outrun your genetics, but I'm going to do my best to try. But another, moving on from exercise, another way I like to take care of myself is just honestly just sitting back and playing some video games. I have a few friends that I play online with, and it's a good way for me to stay connected to them, but also just relieve some stress.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Anything else? Exercise.
Exercising. Hobbies, video games. And honestly, just making sure I'm not overdoing it. I know you have to know when your limit is. Like when I think of it like a seesaw. You don't want to, be so busy that you're not having time to, do self-care.
Right.
Self-care is just taking care of yourself, whatever it is. So, if you're doing too much to keep you busy, you're not focusing on self-care. But it's also possible to not be doing enough and doing too much self-care. So you really have to balance it out.
Yeah.
Life's all about balance.
I like that. Okay, cool. Third question. Why is bringing awareness to this topic important to you?
I think for me, just sharing my own story, not just, for my own gain or benefit, but just if I when I started dealing with anxiety and OCD, I felt really alone. I'm like, why am I going through this? This doesn't make any sense. I don't understand why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling. Why am I having these thoughts? Why am I, why am I so scared?
Mm-hmm.
So I just know that, if there's anyone out there who's feeling like this, that's just, with OCD, and you don't even know it's OCD like it was me, just for you to know that, you're not alone, you're not abnormal, this is something that's perfectly normal and happens to millions of people. So I just feel like, sharing your story is an important part of growth. Biblically, the Bible says that that someone should pour into you. You should have a mentor that's bringing you through hard times and educating you. And when you feel like your cup is full, you should also pour out into someone else. You should have a mentee. So I just feel like that's important for me and my own growth and recovery, just to pour out what's helped me in my story. So.
Yeah, and it's also really important too that we're not trying to pour from an empty cup.
Yeah.
Right? Because I think you and I have seen that in our own marriage when we are exhausted or at our wits' end with anxiety or whatever it is that's going on. If we don't first take care of ourselves and then we try to take care of each other, it just doesn't work because we're trying to pour from an empty cup.
Yeah, exactly. You can look at that through, you know, a family lens, you know, having a parent to pour into you and you pouring into, you know, if you're not taking care of yourself and being poured into, you're not going to have enough to pour into your own kid. You can look at it through friends, you can look at it through coworkers, you know, having a boss that's able to pour into you so you can eventually, you know, pour into someone that's underneath you. You know, you can look at it through any window. It doesn't have to be, you know, biblical and, you know, have you know, spiritual connections with people. You can really look at it through any lens.
Yeah.
So you got to make sure you're being filled up before you can pour into someone else. So that's just what I feel like is an important time for me.
Okay, I like that. That's very good. Well, I think we have a couple more minutes. I want to ask you one more question.
Okay.
Because you asked me a question in the last video that I thought was really good.
Oh, you're going to steal from me, huh?
So I want to hear your response for this one. So you had asked me in the last video if there was one thing I could tell my younger self, what would it be? What's one thing that you wish that you could tell your younger self?
Man, that's a tough one.
I know. I thought if you asked me this question, I had to ask you.
You have to ask me the original one.
What was the...
Gosh. I guess, you know, one thing I would certainly tell myself is just to, you know, I'm going to steal from you now.
That's
but,
fine.
You know, you made a really good point on just being easy with yourself, you know. I wouldn't call myself a perfectionist by any means, but if you haven't heard of the Enneagram...
yeah. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
You acting non-biased interview?
I'm non-biased. I don't know who you are.
Well, if you've never taken the Enneagram test, it's a personality test to help you kind of understand, you know, how your brain works, you know, what your traits are. I'm a type 3, which is the achiever. So achievers always want to be viewed positively. They always want to be liked by their friends. They want to be liked by their coworkers. They want to be given approval and affirmation from other people. You know, they always ask themselves, does this person think I'm doing a good job? Does my spouse think I'm a good husband? Hey, I did the dishes, you know. Am I a good husband now?
Yeah.
But, you know, I think by always having the type 3 mentality, you know, which says, you know, I need to be at my best. If I wake up one day feeling anxious, overwhelmed, or, you know, I'm having a difficult day, you know, I get in that mentality where it's like, no, you can't do this. You can't do this. You need to be you need to be in your A game. You know, you have all this going on today, so you need to be on top of it. You need to be here for your wife. You need to do all this, you know. So it's like, you know, it's a little mini war that goes on in my head. It's like, no, you don't need to be upset right now. You know, you need to be feeling good.
Yeah.
So that's something I would tell myself, that, you know, just take a day as it is. You know, it's okay to not feel okay. It's okay to feel overwhelmed, you know. And that's why it's important to go back to self-care, you know, because obviously the day's responsibilities are still going to be there. You can't always binge out on Netflix all day, so you really just got to do the things that momentarily help relieve some of that stress. So, and that's something I kind of just now realize. It's like, okay, you know, I just need to accept how I feel today. So I feel like that's truly the most important thing I need to tell myself is, and you should probably tell yourself if you're struggling with anxiety or OCD or depression or whatever, you know, it doesn't even matter, but just be easy on yourself. You know, you don't have to be this perfect person like you think you have to be. You can just be Cody, or you can just be Jessa, or you can just be whoever you are.
Yeah, I like that. Good answer. Good answer. Okay. Well, I like that. That was good. Well, thanks for watching today, guys. I hope you really enjoyed it. So next week will be, I don't know if next week we'll be doing one video or two videos, but I think next week was when we were going to plan to do a little bit of a deeper dive into
our specific stories,
yeah.
because obviously anxiety manifests itself in different ways with
Sure.
Jessa, so
Yeah.
and there's all kinds of different types of OCD, so I'll be sharing a little bit more of what I find myself dealing with.
Yeah.
So
maybe we'll split it up into two videos again, where we can both have an opportunity to have time to share that and just kind of go through what that's been like for us on a more specific level. So yeah, I'm excited. And then the week after that, we'll be doing more of like a wrap up, kind of giving you guys a whole bunch of different resources, tips and information on just really highlighting some of the things that we've mentioned this week that have been really helpful for us anxiety wise, and how we relieve that stress and manage that throughout our day. We kind of want to expand on that a little bit more, and not just say eat healthy or exercise, but here's how you can, or
specifics.
Yeah, specifics. Like maybe, I don't know what we'll do yet, but we'll work on that over the next couple of weeks. So if you guys have any suggestions of things that you want to see or hear from us, let us know, and we'll work on that over the next couple of weeks. So, but anyway, thanks guys for watching today, and we will see you next week.